Well, very interesting. Welcome back to the Fantasy Football Funhouse after the longest hiatus we have had in the over 3 years of doing this show. We're kicking off season 4 or year 4 of the combination Falafel House / Fantasy Football Funhouse. And you might notice something a little bit different. When we started the show back in February of 2016, we had 5 guys. And we had lost 2 of them along the way, and it was just me and Kevin and Steve.
Lost them?
We got rid of them. That's right. I was trying to be nice. One of them serves our country. The other one serves no purpose.
Actually, correct.
And then it was me, Steve, and Kevin, and we've been off for a little while. And if you notice, if you're watching live, I don't know if you are, this will be on YouTube if you want to go check it. There's no Steve here. We did some trial research during this hiatus, and we found out that people really did want less Steve. And so he's gone completely. And stopping in are 2 gentlemen who you may know from the Dynasty Wall Street podcast, which Kevin is also a part of, Mr. Riley Bymaster, who I've never gotten to pod with outside of the podathon. That I did pod with you there. But this is my first time having you on my show or our show, Kevin. I apologize.
Oh, wow. I see.
Well, you
take a couple months off, and now it's your show.
You see what I'm saying? He's on a show with you already, so you know what I'm saying. And then a man, if you are in any Voxer chat with me, a guy who I attack more than anybody. I mean, more than Kevin. I attack John Bosch, and it's done out of love. So what is up, John and Riley? Welcome to the show.
It's funny, just before they say hello, it's funny because people actually pay you, Sal, to attack them, and yet he gets it for free. So that you must love him. I mean, there's no other way to say it.
Somebody's Voxer chat is open right now. Is that mine? Who's I don't know.
It's probably yours. What's up, guys? Welcome to the show.
Hey, I'm happy to be here. You said, hey, I got to go record the other podcast, and we don't have Steve tonight. And I was like, well, you're probably going to need 2 other people to fill those shoes. So maybe me and Riley will just pop on over with you and join in with Sal. It's always fun to talk to Sal. I had to make sure this actually happens. As you know, I'm a decent fan of the show. It hasn't been around, so you have to make sure this finishes.
Bosch has been needling me for episodes, and hey, when are you guys going to do the pod again? Are you guys done? And basically threatening. So he's one of the few people happy to have us back.
No, we're definitely not done. And in all seriousness, shout out to Steve, who I'm sure will listen to this at some point. Steve, who we know had a new beautiful daughter towards the middle to the end of the fantasy football season. I forget when exactly she was born, but he also started a new job. So being an adult is kicking Steve's ass, and that is why he is not here. He will be back at some point, but until that time,
he's a broken man. He's a broken man right now.
I mean, calling him a man in general is probably strong, but
yeah, that's fair.
Same.
Yeah, Riley does get that. Riley, is that the first word you've said on this podcast?
I think so. Plus, there was really no invitation tonight. We just kind of, walked in. I'm excited.
They're studying for you, so we knew which one you were going to choose.
Well, I do have an exam tomorrow that I haven't looked at.
I'm nauseous just hearing that. I really am. Well, guys, I figured a good thing to do to come back to the show, since we have not recorded since our Festivus episode. We've been off all playoff season and pretty much all off season. I don't want to talk about rookies so much tonight. April's coming up. I think we'll spend all April long hitting on the rookies, leading up to the shot cast.
You're hitting on them? That's kind of awkward for them.
Well, I'm single now. But I'd like to go over some of the off-season moves, some of the new locations, some of the retirements, and get the temperature of the room on some things. So let's start, of course, with Rob Gronkowski.
Oh my
we know,
I can't do this again, Sal. We just spent like 5 minutes on it.
Well, Riley, this is a different show, and I need you to get yourself under control and pretend like it's not one run-on sentence, okay, my friend? Now,
I actually am extremely anxious to hear Kevin Cattilla's opinion on it. I have been waiting to hear what Kevin Catilla thinks about Rob Gronkowski's situation right now.
Most likely this episode will come out before our Dynasty Wall Street podcast, so you can nice of John to pretend he has not heard me rant about Rob Gronkowski. So
consummate professional, John Bosch, I got to tell you. Yeah. Kevin, before you get into your feelings on Rob Gronkowski, me, you, and John, we all bought him in the Capital Pigs League immediately.
Yes, we did.
The three of us. There's 4 copies, and we bought. I got him for 5, and I think you guys each got him for 10. Is that
No.
correct?
5 for me also.
Oh,
Come on.
Kevin's the sucker.
Only Kevin paid twice the value.
So I assume you guys feel similar to what I felt, which is immediately that this was Gronkowski wanted some time off. He didn't want to have to create a stir between the organization that there's something wrong. He could miss mini camps. He could miss training camp. He could appear at WrestleMania with nobody telling him that he can't do it. There'll be no fines going back and forth. And then, April 25th, 26th, people getting ready to celebrate Labor Day. Rob Gronkowski decides, I want to play football again.
I'm pretty sure you mean October, not April.
Did I say August? Is what I meant.
Oh, you mean August? So you were even going October,
and you're even way further off. Yeah, no, the other A month. Next month is April. August, late August, he could stroll on back. Kevin, tell me your feelings that you've never told anybody before.
Yeah, it's very strange because it's like deja vu. That exact monologue is kind of similar to what my feelings are. I think that you're exactly right. I think he wants mini camps, training camps. I'm going to go a step further. I don't think he's coming back at the beginning of the season. I think it's probably more mid-season. I mentioned October-ish where they start to make their dominance. We know the Patriots are a late season team, and that's when they start to really pour it on. I think that's when he's gonna get the call from Tom Brady and say, hey, we really need you for this stretch run. Why don't you show up? And he does. And, he plays for a few months. They make the playoffs. He goes into, and by week 10 is what I'm saying for your fantasy rosters, I think is when you're going to want him on there.
I'd say a $5 buy is a good deal to get him the fantasy playoff stretch run if that should happen. Riley, you were so anxious to talk about Rob Gronkowski. What's your opinion?
I have never witnessed a player retiring and everyone rushes to buy him. It's insane to me, let alone spending relatively decent capital. I mean, I'd buy for a 5th in a 16-team league, sure. But, I'm not going to go throw a late 3rd or, heck, even an early 4th. I'd rather just roll the dice and take my chances.
Well, you realize that in pigs, the $5 or $10 even that I paid is the equivalent of less than a 4th. So
$5 you could technically do as a roll of the dice in the pigs leagues. I'm pretty sure.
I don't play in pigs leagues.
Hey, you want to roll the dice? Yes. You bet
those leagues sound a little confusing, and they always have.
$5 is basically nothing.
Then sure, go spend $5 on them.
I actually wish Sal was right with his first statement saying that he was going to come back April 25th or whatever, because I'm pretty sure that's right before the NFL draft.
Right time for the draft, yes.
Or right during the draft. That's when I really can't wait to see what the Patriots do. Can you imagine what will happen to his price if they don't invest in a tight end? Because if for some reason they pass on that tight end, that $5 or 10 if you're Kevin, that we spent on him, all of a sudden we have a guy who everybody's going to expect to come back, whether he does or not, doesn't really matter. If they don't invest pretty well at the tight end, I think it's going to look like a signal that he's coming back, and it's just a matter of time. So I think we can turn for a profit right then and there.
Yeah, well, you're probably right about that. But I think that even if they draft a tight end, it makes sense, because if he does come back, it's for one season or a partial season, as Kevin said, and they need to make that next step to bring in a young guy that can replace him. It's not Dwayne Allen, who switched teams. We know he signed, I believe, in Miami. There's really nobody there to come in. I think maybe they signed one of the Denver Broncos tight ends, Kevin. Is that right? One of the guys they had there last year?
Cost or something?
Yeah. Cost. Yeah. The low end flyer on him. And, he had a couple of decent games, I guess, last year, but he's not anything you're going to need to worry about if you're a Gronk. I think the thing that would make me nervous about Gronk potentially coming back, there's a couple of things. And one is there's been a lot of rumors around here locally about them potentially trying to trade for a wide receiver. We know they've had their hands in every single wide receiver this offseason. They were interested in OBJ. They were interested in Antonio Brown. There are guys out there that still, the big one that people throw around here, and Bosch might know because he's local to the other market, is AJ Green.
It's talked about.
So, I mean, if they were to make a move for a guy like that, I think it would be I'm not saying it's a nail in the coffin type situation for Rob coming back, because obviously wide receiver's not going to kill it, but less of a need, less of an idea, one less phone call Brady's got to make is to Rob Gronkowski if he's got AJ Green on the team. And then if they draft a wide receiver high, depending on the type of fit that they get, and Riley can answer this better than any of the three of us, as far as wide receivers that can play that, more of a slot type role, but not the Edelman slot type role, more of the Gronk type role on that team, whereas you get a big bodied wide receiver that can, if they look at one of those guys in the early set, in the second round or third, I think that could be a problem for him as well.
That's that's actually a bold prediction of mine. If they're on the clock at 32 and one of the three tight ends is available and AJ Brown is available, they select AJ Brown.
AJ Brown was going to be the guy that I mentioned.
Love Brown. I think he fits that role perfectly. Played a lot of slot at Ole Miss. Works very well in and out of zone. Has some difficulties maybe separating against press coverage. It's fine. You can teach it. He's a very natural receiver. Great hands. He's very Juju-like, and I kind of missed on Juju, and I'm not going to make that mistake again because Brown isn't the most athletically imposing guy, but he's a running back after the catch. Going to be great in the role. I would love to see him in New England.
Perfect. We got right to rookies. Like I said, we wouldn't get to till April. So that's perfect. No, but excellent, fantastic evaluation, Riley. Let's go right to the Steelers. Let's go right to his cousin Antonio Brown and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Antonio Brown is gone. Le'Veon Bell is gone. Jesse James is gone. So let's talk about the Steelers first before we get to those players that left. Let's talk about who's left behind in Pittsburgh.
So we're going straight to Vance McDonald. Is that what this? You're setting this all up for Vance McDonald?
I think it is a good, it is a great job for Vance McDonald now. So much better than last year. A guy who I have probably on, I don't know, a half a dozen dynasty rosters, Vance McDonald. But no, I want to talk about.
This feels like the prelude to when Sal climaxes and talks about Antonio Brown of the Raiders at the end of this whole thing. Like, he's starting with Vance McDonald and he's working his way up till he just can't take it anymore.
Yeah, we're moving
towards Sal. Go on.
I'm getting a little excited. I'm glad you pointed that out. Let's talk about what's left behind. Obviously, clearly, Juju is the first in line to be the guy, right? He's probably going to become the focal point of that offense. Let's talk about the other guys, the next guy. So everybody's high on James Washington. We were having this discussion in one of the chats the other day.
You immediately went to the wrong guy.
And I want to discuss
Kevin. You're already talking about the wrong guy.
They signed Dante Moncrief, who's still 26 years old. They still have a guy who, Kevin, you and I both, is a guy we always pick up in leagues. Eli Rogers is only 26 years old.
Eli Rogers, there. Nice. Yeah.
John, let me go to you first. Since Kevin's just overwhelmed. He's more excited about Moncrief than I am about Antonio Brown. Let's talk about James Washington, his price right now in dynasty leagues, and if you're buying for what you're seeing him going for.
I should probably look up what his price is because I have no idea. But I like James Washington. I liked him last year as a rookie. He's a guy that I wish he would have gone anywhere other than Pittsburgh. He's kind of the warning, though, that you don't have to worry about landing spot as much, even though I factor that in huge when I'm trying to select my rookies. But I will take James Washington. I think he is the second guy. I think Moncrief might be the third guy. Sorry, Kevin.
It's hard because I like James Washington a lot. I really do, but I can't put it's Moncrief and he's in a good offense.
Well, let me put this number out there. So we'll do it in picks. Would you in a 14-team league, since that's the majority of the size leagues I believe we play in, 14-team dynasty leagues, would you spend a pick between 110 and 201 on James Washington right now?
Absolutely.
I would.
Okay, so we had this chat, Kevin. You were in the chat in the Falafel League chat the other day, and when one of the members of that league, Craig, put up that somebody had put these couple of choices, and I said, "Oh, that's what he's going for." And it was right in that range that you guys just all agreed on. He felt it was entirely too high. He felt he was unproven, not ready to step up. He's not sure if Juju's ready to step up and take that lead.
The 110 is also unproven. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, no, I'm in complete agreement with you guys. I thought it was something I would definitely do as well. So excellent. So Moncrief, you think is number 3, John? Kevin, tell us why he's wrong.
Touchdowns. He's going to have like 20 touchdowns this year.
In his career? Oh, in this year? Oh, okay.
Riley, back me up on this.
I'll take the under.
Pass.
Vance McDonald there, you expect him to get that many touchdowns?
Ben will only have eyes for Moncrief. I can see it already. No, you guys know, obviously, I'm a big Moncrief fan. I do think that in this offense, he's going to be great. I like him to probably
great.
No, I do. I mean, honestly, well, great comparatively. I mean, let's look at his last season, right?
I'm just being modest, but Moncrief's going to be amazing.
Yeah, that's right.
Conservatively, he's going to be the best wide receiver in the NFL, but
No. But honestly, I do think that he's probably a slight. I don't know. I'll say tie with James Washington this year. I don't know that. I mean, Juju's the guy, and both Riley and John can attest to the fact that earlier this year, I had Juju at my second wide receiver. I had him very high up. I mean, in Dynasty, I was putting him at number 2, which is I think he's going to be amazing, and he's going to get a lot of targets. He's going to take a lot of the focus on that. It'll be a little different for him being the number 1 guy, but I think that he can do it. So I think Moncrief and Washington are probably going to split the rest. I don't know that I'm buying Eli Rogers anywhere. I maybe a midseason pickup. Vance McDonald, I do regret to say that he probably will be better this year than probably what you expected out of him last year, Sal. He'll be this year. So
that's why we take and hold, Kevin.
Well, that's fine, but you took expecting, and you were wrong, except for the playoffs.
Kevin, which Steeler non-Juju wide receiver is more likely to be, let's say, wide receiver? Let's start at wide receiver 30.
More likely?
Yeah.
I don't know that either of them are going to be wide receiver 30. I'll put it that way.
That's putting us in the wide receiver 3 range.
Yeah. I
don't think either of them can.
They're probably both right around there. I'd probably put them both around 35 if I had to. I don't rank anymore, but that's probably.
No, I'm not talking about ranks. I'm talking about production.
Yeah, I mean,
the 2019 season.
Theoretically, preseason ranks, you would your.
Oh, that's right. This is a redraft podcast, of course.
No, this is a multi-diversified fantasy football podcast.
Funhouse.
And I like how Kevin says he doesn't rank anymore. You've never ranked, my friend.
Well, I've never ranked well, but I used to at least go through the process.
No, I just meant in life you don't rank. All right, let's jump over to where one of those free agents landed with the New York Jets. Le'Veon Bell is now in New York. My son is very excited about that. I want you guys, each one of you guys, to give me, and we'll go redraft first, John. Redraft this year coming up. What's the earliest you would draft Le'Veon Bell? Kevin.
He's probably a late second for me.
Okay, and Riley.
I hadn't played redraft in so long.
Just try to think if you were picking a team for 1 year, this year.
I don't follow.
All right, John.
No, I think I'd take him. I'd take him early second. He'd be a nice guy to pair with that late first receiver.
Mr. Bach, would that late first receiver be Antonio Brown by any chance? Go ahead, Mr. Bach.
And that's perfect because my initial thought was probably in the mid-second. And it would depend on who I got with my first pick. Probably if I went, if I'm near the back end of the first round and I go running back to start, I'm probably going to want to look at what wide receivers are there before I look at a second running back. But if I go wide receiver first, then I'm probably more likely to take him a little bit earlier. Like you said, if you take Antonio Brown and then you pair him, I could see how he could move up to the earlier in the second round. I don't think he's going to last to the late second round. That seems ambitious.
Yeah, no, probably not. So I probably won't have him on my rosters, but I honestly, I'm concerned that team still sucks and that he hasn't played in a year and it's going to be a rough go.
I mean, that is such a Patriot point of view.
I was just going to say, what fan base are you from?
I was thinking early second. I agree with Riley. I do have some hesitation. I understand what Kevin's saying. It is the Jets. All right, so let's then.
Are we concerned at all about Le'Veon Bell motivation when he actually returns to playing football?
Yes.
That's
I mean,
that's part of my
I'm concerned about motivation. I'm concerned about the offensive line. I'm a little concerned about the quarterback. I'm concerned about the wide receivers. I'm concerned about all of that factoring into the idea that he just won't produce the way that he used to.
The Jets could easily start out, I mean, not even knowing their schedule, because I don't think that's been released yet for the year. They could start out 0 whatever number. That's not something that Le'Veon Bell is used to. And I am curious how someone like him might react to starting out 0-4 and basically the season's already over for you. He doesn't seem like a guy that would be too on board to really want to go out and give his all anymore.
Yeah, he's a quitter.
Pretty much. That's kind of what it seems like.
Rumor has it marijuana will be legal in New York soon. So
he's a good rapper. So, you know.
No, he's not. Riley, tell me if where does Le'Veon Bell fall for you as a dynasty running back right now? Is he still a locked-in top 10 dynasty running back in your rankings?
I don't think so. I think he's outside the top 10 pretty easily. As I'm pulling up ADP so I can verify that
you're not lying.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's outside the top 10.
I ask you that because do you think the community has this deal with name recognition and not having the ability to adjust that quickly to realize that you're probably right? He is. If you looked at it, he's outside of that top 10. But in dynasty startups, where do you expecting people still to draft him higher or auction purchase him, John? Higher than
I think the same people that might operate based on name recognition will also operate on the same recognition of the team that he's now on. So anybody that's giving him a bump because his name's Le'Veon Bell and that's, like that's what they remember, they also are going to see that he's now on the Jets, and that'll, to me, counteract it. I don't think he's a top 12. I don't think I've had him in my top 12 for quite a while. So I don't think he should be in the top 12 even.
Here's one for you guys. Kareem Hunt or Le'Veon Bell?
Oh, that's Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah,
I'll take Bell. I mean, Bell's going to be on the field sooner.
Really?
Maybe if you want in week 7.
I mean, he'll be on the field sooner, but
week 7 approach the Kareem Hunt owner if you really want Kareem Hunt. And I think you could get Kareem Hunt plus for Bell.
According to my sources, Kareem Hunt and Gronk will come back the same week.
Is Jordy Nelson playing in that week? No, Jordy Nelson is happily retired, and I don't expect him to come back. Here's a guy with the Jets. I'm interested to get Kevin's take on this guy as a wide receiver that we both.
Make sure you say it right.
So, Jamison Crowder.
There it is.
Is a guy Kevin and I both liked in the past when he was with Washington. Kevin, we all know Robbie Anderson's the big play wide receiver there, right? But Jamison Crowder was never a big play wide receiver. He's the short hands guy, the receptions guy. What kind of role do you think he'll play there? And do you think that he is he going to be a worthy starter, maybe a wide receiver 3 on a weekly basis in fantasy for the Jets?
Wide receiver 3, maybe I could see that. Yeah, I think that he's going to be that role. I mean, first of all, he's got to stay on the field for one. He's had some injuries, can't really seem to stay on the field, but he's the type of guy that, as much as I'm down on the Jets offense or at least skeptical of the Jets offense, I should say, he's the type of guy that if he's on the field, he gets volume anyway, and I think he's pretty much will fit in just about any offense. I think that he can have value as a wide receiver 3. I wouldn't be paying too much for him. He's not a guy that I'm certainly going to go hard after, but you're also going to be able to get him very late in redrafts, and you can get him for relatively cheap right now in Dynasty. So a dart throw at him, why not?
He's available in Power Hungry for those of you that may be in that league.
I'll give you $5.
I will take Gronk instead. Okay. Very under the radar signing for the Jets, tight end Clive Walford, Kevin. Just wanted to throw that out.
Of course,
there.
Clive Walford. It's probably the fourth year in a row that we've talked about Clive Walford on this podcast.
Just me and his family. That's all that talks about Clive Walford.
I gotta say, when I looked up tight end signings for our topic tonight on Wall Street, Clive Walford did not make the cut. Shockingly.
Mercedes Lewis was on there and Clive Walford wasn't.
The NFL did not even report his signing.
They're not even sure it actually took place. Gruden might have just put in and had him sign a blank piece of paper.
It's a napkin deal. It's a napkin deal.
All right, let's get to AB. Let's get to the Raiders, who've had an interesting offseason. Antonio Brown came in. They also signed Terrell Williams. Kevin, they signed the best free agent offensive lineman away from New England and Trenton Brown. And we saw the Raiders do a bad job. I'm sorry, the Giants do a bad job last year in signing a very over-the-hill offensive lineman away from the Patriots for a lot of money. Give me your assessment, Kevin. Let's forget Kevin. Let's go with John first. He's been here before. Give me your assessment, John, of Antonio Brown at this point in his career, where you feel he ranks amongst the top wide receivers in fantasy, and how many years you think that he could put forth the effort. He's working hard. He's got videos every day, training. Is Antonio Brown still the elite level wide receiver in the NFL?
I mean, I think he'll be fine this year. In Dynasty, there's a lot of guys that I want ahead of him, but I'm not going out of my way to obtain Antonio Brown. I think I did obtain one recently, but
because you paid nothing for it, which is still irritating. But go on.
I needed a wide receiver 3 on that team, man. So, I think he's going to be fine. I don't think he's going to be the Antonio Brown that we have come to know and expect from Pittsburgh production. I don't think Derek Carr can supply to him what Ben Roethlisberger did. Even if they do use him way more than they used Amari, which they should, I don't think he puts up the numbers that he put up in Pittsburgh. But I think he still will be better than a lot of other wide receivers out there. If you're expecting Pittsburgh Antonio Brown, I think you're going to be disappointed. If you're expecting a nice, solid, probably wide receiver 1 week most of the time, I think you're still going to be okay, but not the wide receiver 1.
I'm kind of curious what Riley has to say and how he fits into the John Gruden offense.
Well, I got burned last year when everybody was talking up Amari Cooper and how Gruden was going to target him on every other play. And
I still don't understand why he didn't. Stupid Raiders.
Yeah. And then I bought Cooper in our salary cap startup for a little too much.
An exorbitant amount of money.
I drank the Kool-Aid and that burned me. So I'm a little hesitant to fully believe that Brown is going to be the guy and get all the targets. So I don't know. I'm probably a little lower. Right now, DLF ADP has Brown above Diggs, Cooks, Thielen. I'd rather have all 3 of those guys. And if we're talking about redraft, I'd also
take Thielen over Antonio Brown. No chance.
You would take Diggs then?
Diggs probably right around the same point. I'd probably still lean AB, but it's closer for me.
What do we feel about the Terrell Williams signing, and can he be a legitimate number 2 NFL wide receiver opposite Antonio Brown and perform? He only showed flashes in LA/San Diego, right? He showed big play ability. Can he be a steady performer opposite AB as a guy you want to have in your lineup weekly, Kevin?
You got to feel bad for the guy that went from the quarterback that looks like he's shot putting the ball to Derek Carr. And he's a guy that can get downfield and be a big play threat. He's huge. He's good at jump balls. And now he's in an offense with Derek Carr, who doesn't really throw the ball downfield. So it makes me nervous. I was hoping for a much better landing spot for him. There was a lot of hype. We thought that he was going to, get a big payday, that there were a lot of teams after him. And he ended up with pretty much what I think would have been one of the bottom choices for a team for him to land with. Having said that, he's, the number 2 wide receiver on an offense that'll probably have to throw a lot because they'll be down, and because
They don't have any running backs.
They don't have any running backs, and yeah,
Marshawn's going to let him know what he's going to do after the draft. Don't worry.
Yeah,
He's going to let him know.
Here's the other problem: their offensive line sucks. They traded away the best guard that they have, and they signed a house of a offensive tackle coming from New England, whose sole reason for being good last season was because he wanted to get paid, and now he got paid, and he'll be 400 pounds by the end of the season.
Oh,
so,
boy.
It makes me nervous that they'll be able to block well enough to keep Derek Carr upright long enough for plays with Tyrell Williams. So he makes me nervous. I like the player. Don't love the fit.
All right, let's be done with the Raiders because I was last year.
Well, wait, before we move from the Raiders, Sal, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Back in the Raiders offensive heyday of having Amari Cooper and Crabtree, it wasn't often that Derek Carr was able to get both of them production in 1 week, right? Correct. It was usually like one or the other. If he's got Antonio Brown and Tyrell Williams, pretty sure that production is going to lean towards Antonio Brown way more frequently than it was with the previous combination that he had, right?
And coincidentally, I believe 2 days before Antonio Brown signed with the Raiders, I made a deal in pigs that involved trading away Tyrell Williams to get him. So I hope that you're right. Since I
think Antonio Brown, I know we said it last year with Amari Cooper, but come on, like there's no way that they ignore Antonio Brown, right?
I think he's probably going to get close to 100 catches. It's just where are they going to be on the field, and is he going to be able to get the run after the catch that he normally does?
15 touchdowns last year. Can he sniff 12 this year?
No.
I think 12. I think 12's a decent number to set. I'd be really happy with 12.
I think the over-under is 10 probably, and I'd probably lean under at this point.
Oof. My wide receiver 3 is going down.
That's nice, John. I got him as a wide receiver 3 too, behind Adams and Julio. So, all right, let's
just keep mocking Kevin's teams.
Here's one of the more interesting teams. All right, it's not really that interesting at all, but here's a team that added some players. The Buffalo
team that added. Oh, it's the Bills. Oh,
the Buffalo Bills.
Sorry, Julie.
The Buffalo Bills added Kevin's other darling, John Brown.
It's great landing spot for him.
They added Mr. Reliable Cole Beasley, and they signed Tyler Kroft, who's only 26 years old and has had some kind of success as a tight end in this league. So they're putting weapons, I guess, to go with Zay Jones and a very old Frank Gore.
Bring up Zay Jones.
Isn't Frank Gore gone? Didn't
who?
I know. He signed with him.
I know, but I thought he was. I thought I saw something saying he was going to be out the door.
No, that was Chris Ivory.
Yeah, Ivory.
Oh, was it Chris Ivory? Okay.
Frank Gore and LaShawn McCoy, the oldest running back tandem in the history of the league.
Sorry, if it was Chris Ivory, I knew there was a Bills running back being put out the pasture. Probably. I guess.
This is a sad conversation.
Gore's going to play till he's 60, which makes me feel good.
I just want to see him on the field with his son.
What does this mean for Josh Allen? Is Josh Allen going to become – I saw a list somewhere that had him as the number 9 quarterback in redraft this upcoming year. I don't agree with that. But
redraft, I can't see that, no.
But go ahead.
Wow, I was going to say, on our Wall Street podcast, we regularly refer to Riley as the scouting guru. And he told me pre-draft he was not a big fan of Josh Allen, for obvious reasons mechanically. However, I believe, Riley, and correct me if I'm wrong, you said that throughout his first season you saw some improvements that you were pleased with.
Drastic improvements. Loved it. Cleaned up his footwork. His arm release and motion is still a little bit sloppy at times. He still can chicken wing it. Which is basically, when you drop that elbow, it's a Bortles or Tebow motion. But he looked
the greats.
He looked good. Oh yeah, I hate to group him in with those guys, but he looked good. And I mean, he had nothing last year, and at least this year he has something. I'm excited for Allen.
I'm excited for Allen too. Mostly, I don't mean quarterback 9 is way too high, but I do think that he can get. He'll have quarterback 9 weeks. And he may even have quarterback 5 weeks if he can rush for a touchdown here and there. I think John Brown's a great fit. The guy's got a cannon for an arm. He loves slinging it down the field, and John Brown can run. So I think that's a great fit. And I'm excited to see that connection. As of course I'm a big Smokey fan.
When it comes to quarterback in fantasy football, I mean, do we really care the difference between quarterback number 9 and quarterback number 15, 16? Like, I mean, overall, it's not drastically different. Even in redraft, I mean, does it make? That's what I'm saying. Like on a weekly basis, the scoring between those differences is not huge. So I think he would have plenty of quarterback 9 weeks, like you said. And if he hits 15 to 16 a couple of times, big deal. Like, that's not going to kill you in a week. I don't care what weapons they put around Josh Allen. He's not there to throw the ball to score me points. He's going to score points for my fantasy team in ways that probably aren't designed. And I'm okay with that.
Sal, here's one for you. Would you take Josh Allen or Matt Stafford? Stafford obviously coming off a terrible year. He has a bad coach, just a bad coach.
Everybody sucks in Kevin's eyes when they leave New England.
No, listen, I love Patricia as a defensive coordinator.
For the Patriots.
Am I taking Stafford this for one season or?
Yeah, we're talking about redraft for now, and then maybe
I take Stafford still this year coming up. Jesse James is there. Michael Roberts,
right? Michael Roberts still there too.
The weapons are still better in Galladay and Marvin Jones. The group of running backs are younger. I still like the offense in Detroit a little more right now than I do in Buffalo. So I would take Stafford, and I'm an old school Stafford guy. So
that's tougher. That's tougher for me because the reason I've liked Stafford for a long time is because he's Mr. Consistent. That's fine. I'm good with him. He wasn't that last year though. So, I mean, there's comes a time when everybody that's consistent loses that consistency. I really hope that's not the case for Stafford at this point. I think he does have a much better 2019 than he did a 2018. But honestly, I think
Matt Ryan before too, though, and then he rebounded and became, he's still not consistent necessarily, but his downs are not as down as we thought they were a few years back.
But I mean, and that's why honestly, I kind of feel okay taking Josh Allen over him. I don't know that in a redraft, I'm honestly not going to care because I'm going to take whichever one's left. But compared 1-to-1, I think Josh Allen's got a pretty safe floor built in. Stafford doesn't have that safe floor. If that offense doesn't click for him, we saw bad games from him last year.
We did. He used to have the occasional bad game, but they were way more consistent last year. We'll have to see how it plays out. For now, it would be Stafford for me. I could understand, John, why you would lean Allen. One more team before we move to individual player signings. The much maligned offseason of the New York Giants. Obviously, the biggest trade of the offseason
in the history of us
was the OBJ trade. But even more just confusing was the almost immediate signing of Golden Tate. The Giants, they looked like, okay, we're going to get OBJ out of here. We're going to go young. We're going to rebuild. And
Golden Tate is the solution to that.
Clearly going to go with Eli Manning and Golden Tate this year. So what in the world, John?
Don't ask me to try and figure. Literally, I've been a Bengals fan at points in my life.
I know. I see.
And I look at the Giants and I go, I don't know what I feel bad for their fans because you don't know the direction. I mean, it's mixed signals and all of them seem to be incorrect. Like none of the signals they're giving out seem to be correct, but they're not clear. It's just, I have no idea what they're doing.
Here's the one thing that I have to think that it's a locker room thing, right? I mean, Golden Tate, a very good locker room guy. But then you think, I don't know, I guess then you think about Landon Collins, who was apparently a very good locker room guy who's no longer there now too. So I don't know. I'm with you, Bosch. Maybe I don't know at all. But I do like Golden Tate this year. I think it's a good spot for him because
Was OBJ destroying the locker room? I mean, even if he doesn't get along with management, do the other players actually care about that at all?
You could curse here, John. I do believe that there were players that are probably sick and tired of the BS that came with OBJ and the focus being on OBJ. And as a person here in New York, and I'm not a Giants fan, but I'm around a lot of them and I hear a lot of what's going on. He needed to go. He did. There were Giant fans that got on, and when I gave that take on Twitter and were like, "Oh, you're gonna die on that hill," no, it's the addition by his subtraction that in a few years will make this a better team. There's no doubt the talent that he has, and he'll go be successful in Cleveland, I believe. But I think it had to be done. I think they should have done it a little bit more intelligently and not spend the money that they spent last year. But there also is rumor that
the GM, give him away.
Yeah, well, the GM supposedly wanted to trade him last year before that money was given, and the GM and the owner didn't allow it. So the Giants have made un-Giant-like moves in the last 2 to 3, maybe 3 seasons, and we'll have to see if they come out of it. But Kevin, to your point before about Golden Tate being a good locker room guy, he did sleep with Russell Wilson's ex-wife, I believe, or wife or something. So I don't know if that makes him a good teammate.
Fine. He was just being helpful.
But my question was going to be about Golden Tate, and so Kevin does feel like he could have a good season coming. Riley, do you feel like Golden Tate could be what he was, not this past season with the moves out of Detroit, but 2 years ago in Detroit, where he was a reliable number 1 on the team and a really good wide receiver too for your fantasy squad?
No, those days are gone. I think he's going to be a wide receiver 3 at best. I think it's going to be a really frustrating year of who do I start or who's going to blow up which week. It's going to be Ingram, Shepard, or Tate.
By blow up, what do you mean by blow up for somebody that's catching?
Relatively blow up.
Catching balls from Eli Manning.
Who's going to score the most? So, his peak days are definitely gone. Wish you could have sold him a couple years ago. I'm not too excited about him. I think he's a wide receiver 3 at best.
Kevin, I just have to say, having Gettleman here in New York, that is the worst accent on a human being. And it's a Boston accent. It's the absolute worst thing I've ever heard in my life. It's atrocious.
Are you joking right now?
No, it's terrible. It's terrible, Kevin.
Do you know how you sound?
It's awful.
Have you heard you?
I know how I sound, and I'm here to let you know. It's brutal.
Oh,
it's
God.
Brutal.
I don't even.
My ears bleed.
It's not even debatable which one.
And I'm fully sure he's here just to screw up New York as it is anyway. It's all ploy.
We've planted him there as Bostonians.
Before we move on to the individual signings, let's talk about OBJ. So, Kevin, before you said you had Juju as your number 2 wide receiver at a point in this offseason. Your number 1 is DeAndre Hopkins, I'm presuming?
It was DeAndre Hopkins.
All right. So where does OBJ rank in your dynasty rankings of wide receivers after the trade to Cleveland?
3.
You still have Juju at 2?
Yep.
John, where do you have OBJ?
He's definitely not 1. DeAndre Hopkins is locked in as my number 1 wide receiver. I think Odell can get in the conversation for number 2. I think number 2 is a tier, as we discussed a while back, and we finally convinced Riley that Hopkins is a tier in and of himself. I think Odell Beckham can share that next tier with Michael Thomas, Juju, and Devontae Adams, to be honest. I don't really care which one you have ranked at the top of them. I like all of them pretty similarly, so no real difference to me.
I think it was me, by the way, that you had to convince Nuke was a...
Yeah,
was it
Nuke
you?
was my far and away one.
Yeah,
okay.
It was me. I had him.
Kevin.
I didn't have him in a tier by himself.
Riley, Kevin does this sometimes. Some of my best ideas he has claimed to be his own.
I didn't even claim that. I just gave credit to Riley when I didn't.
Yeah,
I could have accepted that.
Thinking back, I think Kevin may have been right on
Just to be clear, Riley was going to take one for the team on that, and he wasn't going to say anything.
I'm pretty sure you're pointing a pen very similar to the one I have here. Look at that.
That's pretty close. Yeah. See, mine's
identical. That's cute. Anyway,
it's great podcasting because everyone can't see that. So.
When is that? We've Jarvis Landry for you guys. Where's Jarvis Landry for you guys?
Oh my!
Wow, Landry.
Everybody, hey, Jarvis, turn off the podcast. Fast forward.
Yeah, let's. Look, I think, but this makes
I have a question. Jarvis Landry or James Washington?
Jarvis Landry for me.
Yeah, it's Jarvis Landry for me, unfortunately.
Am I a bad person if I say James?
Yes.
No, you're
No.
not a bad person.
I think
at all.
it's close.
Listen, I think
Say it, Kevin.
I think it's in redraft. It's Jarvis Landry still.
Yeah.
In Dynasty, I'd probably lean James.
So you want me to take Dante Moncrief over
Jarvis Landry?
Jarvis Landry?
You asked about
No. You said Dante Moncrief and James Washington are equal to you. So now you're telling me
we're talking about this season production. I said they'll probably be equal. I just said Jarvis Landry is better than James Washington in redraft, but in Dynasty, I'm probably leaning Washington. In Dynasty, I take Jarvis Landry over Moncrief, although it hurts.
That's not even close. I love you, Kevin.
I think Washington and Landry are pretty close in Dynasty.
He just said Moncrief. That he like struggled to say he'd take Landry over Moncrief. It pained him to say it.
I know I'm obviously kidding, but no, Riley, I agree with you. I think it's Washington. I think Washington in Dynasty, I take over Landry. I really do.
Yeah, Dynasty, I think it's closer. Unfortunately, God, even there, I think really, I don't like Landry, but
you're off Wall Street then.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
I just lose my Landry hater card?
Yep.
Over under one season before Landry was out of Cleveland because he's not getting paid attention to.
He's still getting paid.
That guy before with OBJ, so you know.
Okay, I think I know the answer to this question. Adam Humphrey signs with Tennessee. Better value for Adam Humphries or Chris Godwin?
Oh, it's Godwin all day.
Godwin's not even.
You don't want to get me talking about Godwin.
I knew the answer to that.
Yeah. That was a shame that Humphries went and signed there, to be honest. Like that's just bad.
He should be on the Patriots. He
really should be.
He's the perfect Patriot.
Yes.
He's just going to give Marcus Mariota another target to overthrow at 4 yards.
Oh, Kevin, how's the love for Marcus Mariota coming into this year, Kevin?
So down on Marcus Mariota, and it's starting.
Also, another one of my cap league investments.
Yes,
Mariota, Cooper.
Really that team up.
Not bitter at all.
I'm not done with Mariota. I really am not. I'm still a fan. I still own him in dynasty leagues. I'd still buy him for cheap if people are selling. I just think you got to hope that he stays in the field for one and develops a rapport with Corey Davis.
with the newest coaching staff that we play
now.
with, right?
Now he's got another new coaching staff. So I mean, listen, we saw Alex Smith put it together when he got to Andy Reid. So eventually, Mariota will get to a coach that he fits with, right?
Riley, my take with Kevin always was when he was on a Mariota train is he's a better winning NFL quarterback than he is a fantasy quarterback. He does the little things in the NFL for his team to win. They win a little bit ugly. They run the ball well. They'll play some good defense, but he's a guy I just don't want on my
It's just frustrating because living in Tennessee, I see the Titans games every week, and no one wants to let him loose. It's like Sal being a big Mets fan. They let Jacob deGrom only throw off-speed stuff. I did that on purpose.
Trying to go with
I wanted to have a little fun.
What?
I wanted to have a little fun. It's
Not
like
letting
your ace.
I mean, but call him a Mets fan. Woo.
Tomorrow's opening day.
Let's go, Mets. Do-do-do-do. Yes, opening day tomorrow or today, whenever you're listening to this. Let's go, Yankees. We're already injured. All right, better offseason quarterback signing, Nick Foles with the Jaguars or Ryan Fitzpatrick with the Miami Dolphins?
Patrick.
John,
better for whom? Better for whom?
Better for your fantasy roster, John.
All right. I'll take this is Foles. I would rather have Foles than Fitzpatrick. And I think I was not on the Foles train last year when he went to Denver. Or not Foles, Keenum. I think Foles is going to be Keenum. That's what I'm trying to say. I was not on the Keenum train last year when he went to Denver. Not on the Foles train this year. I think it's going to be a repeat situation. And you're going to get 1 year out of Foles just because, like, what else is Jacksonville going to do? not interested in really either. But if forced, I guess I'll take Foles. Or maybe I can stream him 1 or 2 weeks.
You got a 4-year, $88 million deal?
Yeah, 88 million, 50 plus guarantee.
So
I love that you think money matters in the NFL.
It definitely matters in this situation. They may draft, maybe they draft a guy not in the first round this year. Maybe they probably look to draft
Next
the guy
year.
next year.
Yes.
But you're getting 2 seasons out of Foles, in my opinion.
I
So
think-
it's not even close with Fitzpatrick, who will probably be replaced by midseason.
You think he plays 16 games next year? I said I'd take Foles over Fitzpatrick.
Foles? I think
Yeah.
it's closer. I think Fitzpatrick's very close to maybe 8 games max.
Oh, I completely agree with you there. I'm saying I don't think Foles is a long-term solution, even into next year. I think next year we look at Foles the same way we are looking right now at Fitzpatrick.
I think he got 2 full years out of Foles. I'll say 32 games.
I'll take the under.
But let me ask you this: while you're talking about how many games Fitzpatrick will play, and then tell me.
We were talking about Foles, but go on.
We'll get the Fitzpatrick. John said.
There's no way Fitzpatrick starts 32 games.
No.
When the season starts, whose uniform is Josh Rosen wearing?
Oh, baby.
You just said
don't get me
Kevin
excited. It's got to be a Patriot uniform, right?
So the rumor today is Patriots, Chargers, Giants. Is not being rumored with the Dolphins, which I thought would also be a decent spot for him to go to, but he's not being rumored there. So obviously Kevin is just overwhelmed and flustered with the idea of him wearing Patriots red, white, and blue. Riley, where do you think he lands?
I don't know.
Strictly a guess, not holding you anything.
I really do think the Chargers might, ball up and offer their late first for him. I would really like that fit.
The word today was there was a number 2, a second-round pick offered by one of those 3 teams. That's the rumor.
I would bet that the Patriots were the team that offered the second. It seems like the move of the Patriots to go in with the second, knowing that a team's going to have to offer a first to get by. They have a lot of picks. They have extra capital to get rid of this year. I think they have 14 draft picks or something like that. I can see them offering a second. So for two reasons. One, it gets their foot in the door first so that when someone else comes in and offers a first, they can say, all right, well, yeah, we'll up our offer. And they're already working with something. So they're that team. Just like Bosch likes to do. He likes to get his foot in the door in a trade first so that you're working with him. And that when other people start to call, he gets the last look. That's kind of the MO. And I think that I can see the Patriots doing that. I don't know if Phillip Rivers doesn't seem like a guy that's going anywhere for a few years. I don't know if they're going to want to pay a first round pick for, Rosen right now. The Giants make a lot of sense, but they're not giving up a first round pick either. I don't think so.
Plus it's the Giants. We're just giving up on logic.
Right.
So to me, I there is still a part of me that sees this happening and can't help but think of that guy that comes in the chat and says, all right, I'm selling this guy. Send me offers. I'm selling him. Give me your best offer. No, that's not good enough. I need the best offer. I need a better offer. Somebody send me a better offer. And then 2 days later, everybody's like, so are you going to trade that guy? And then you're going to hear, no, I never got the offer that was good enough. I'm not sold that he's gone. If I have to bet on it, I'm going to bet the Cardinals because I think the deals are more likely to fall apart. I mean,
I think they'll take a second.
Do you think so?
Yep.
I
don't think he's their guy. I don't think he's. I mean,
he's not Kingsbury's guy. In fact,
there's not any little part of you that thinks this is just trying to drive that price up for that 101.
Sure, absolutely. I think it's trying to drive the price up for the 101. I think it's trying to drive the price up for Josh Rosen. I think, but to see if they can get an offer that blows them away. Absolutely. I mean, they're stupid if they don't do that. But I also don't think that they really want him. And I think if they get more draft capital, why wouldn't they? If I'm them, I keep him, right? And I still draft Murray. Because why not have both?
Might as well.
I don't understand why you wouldn't. They're cost
Both
effective. I mean, you're talking about an already sunken cost in that first round pick. So, but they do have a lot of team needs. So if they can get extra draft capital, maybe that's what they're thinking. And I do see it going that way. There's too much smoke around him being traded.
But have you heard one word from Rosen?
No. Why would he comment?
Okay, so
because he's an arrogant douchebag.
Yes, that's it. That's exactly it. That was the knock on him coming out of college was this guy's a jerk. If that's true, does he seem to have the personality that's just going to like sit there and be like, okay, I'm not going to react at all? If he truly is somebody that's that much of an arrogant jerk, which I don't care because if he's a quarterback of the NFL team, he better hope that he better believe that he is the best person in the world playing quarterback. That's his job. But if that's the case, don't you think we'd have a little bit of a response from him? Like anything.
I'll tell you what I think, honestly, John, because I do think he was a douche and what he said after he was taken 10th and about the other teams that didn't take him. I think that maybe, just maybe, somebody intelligently
learned a lesson?
No, I think it's somebody intelligently is telling him keep your mouth shut.
Could be.
Somebody who helps control his money and
one might
is telling him
Patriot way.
Well, there's a chance he does end up in Arizona still, as John said, and if he's going to be there with Kingsbury, he's going to want to have a good start and shoot your mouth off if maybe this whole Kyler Murray thing is smoke and mirrors to try and get somebody to trade up for the pick. He's got to play it. He's got to play it cool. So
if that trade doesn't happen before the draft, like, can you imagine how excited we are when we are on the clock with like the 101 pick? Oh my God, this is going to be awesome for the NFL. What is it? 10 minutes or 15 minutes for the first round pick or something like that.
It'll go all the way down to the wire.
Yes. And if he hasn't been traded yet, just the tension is going to be so much fun to watch.
Also, speaking of Arizona and their new coach, if you noticed a little while back in the show, and you will notice unless you're watching live, Riley had to leave to go do something on his cell phone. And that's the thing that young millennials are allowed to do every 20 minutes if you play with the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know if you saw that story today, but Cliff Kingsbury announced that during team meetings, he will allow the players to take breaks every 20 minutes to check their social media. This was an actual quote from an NFL head coach.
That's awesome. Okay, so we are all in chats with each other. And I'm pretty sure Sal doesn't go about 2 minutes without checking his phone. Kevin's usually pretty fast to respond too. Riley actually doesn't often respond in class. He will sometimes. 20 minutes without checking your phone does feel like a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't think I go 20 minutes a day, during the day without at least just picking it up and seeing what's going on.
I'll check the chats and be like, what's wrong with these assholes? Nobody's saying anything.
But you know what? Then again, I'm not being paid millions of dollars.
It's been 15 minutes since I got a notification.
I'm not being paid millions of dollars to pay attention to football either. So I don't know. Might be a little different if my job wasn't.
Whoa. Wait a second. Kevin, you're not getting paid millions of dollars to pay attention. Where's Hurley? Get Hurley on the phone.
This lovely, lovely room that I have here. You must have thought that I was a millionaire playing.
Hurley, Izzy, we've got a bone to pick.
Yeah, that's right. So,
at least the basement has drywall.
It's drywall now, so that's good. For all you fans waiting on the podathon and waiting for the freezer, it is not in the podcast room anymore.
All right, guys, let's move on to which one of these running backs landed in a place that pissed us off more. Tevin Coleman with the San Francisco 49ers or Carlos Hyde with the Kansas City Chiefs? Riley, we'll start with you.
Neither. I liked them both.
You like them both. So tell me, who's going to carry the ball the most in Kansas City this year?
Probably. Oh, shit.
While he's thinking about it, Sal, this is what it's like to podcast with Riley. The majority of the world kind of thinks, wow, that sucks. And Riley's like, nope, that's perfect. The majority of the world thinks this is perfect. Riley's like, that's just not a good thing. Now you're experiencing podcasting with Riley.
Probably Damian Williams, but he's going to get like 55 to 60% of the carries. The guy they draft is going to be pretty damn close.
All right, so Raleigh's predicting they take a
Guy they
young running
draft.
back to
Speculation.
make it even worse. Kevin, let me ask you this. Which one of the three, and obviously it's not going to be Tevin Coleman, Matt Breida or Jerick McKinnon, who is out in San Francisco? Because I think one of them will not be on the team when the season starts. If you had to pick one of those guys to be gone, which one is it?
I think Bosch.
Should I go back in Kevin's bathroom? What happened?
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
That's not my noise. I'm just making a reaction.
I don't know what just happened there. That
somebody else.
But look, I think not going to be on the team. I think they're all going to be on the team. I don't see why they don't keep them all at this point. They have the cap space. It's already accounted for. It's not going to hurt them to keep them all.
Someone must go.
I think Shanahan likes having two backs that he can use. So I think you're going to see Coleman, although I think it's Coleman, is the guy. I think you're going to see him and McKinnon split a little bit, and he's looking for that Devonta Freeman and Tevin Coleman combination that he had before. So I think you're going to see those two guys. I don't see why they wouldn't keep Breida. Raheem Mostert's probably the one that's going to get cut if they drop down to 3 running backs, but that's about it.
Didn't they just sign him to an extension?
Yeah,
they did. Yeah,
I think they'd cut McKinnon.
I think they would. I just don't like. I think
I don't
think they will. Like I don't see the point. Why not keep 4?
All right, so guys, for those of you who are not normally on the show, usually I have Steve breathing down my neck as that we're taking too much time. And tonight, Kevin actually typed that to me that we're getting close. So I'm just going to draw out. I want to get some quick responses on these. Randall Cobb, do you care? Landed with the Cowboys.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm rooting for him for Ryan McDowell.
Could Devin Funchess be this year's?
No.
Shakes his head.
I don't even care where you're going. You can name any player. He will not be anything.
This year's Tyler Boyd.
He's this year's Dante Moncrief.
Shut the fuck up, Riley.
There was a certain tight end that landed in Indianapolis last year that had the stigma of not being able to catch footballs and led the league in receiving touchdowns.
Of course, Ebron.
Is there any chance that Devin Funchess could be this year's Eric Ebron? No,
Yes.
not at all.
Yes. I mean, there's a non-zero chance, but I'm not interested in it. Non-zero, that's the term, right? That people like to throw
around. How many
around.
zeros do you have to get after the decimal place before you get to 1 for you?
I'll give another 0. Devin Funchess has never dropped a pass out of the slot.
Or being thrown from Andrew Luck.
He caught one out of the slot?
He has.
1?
I don't know the exact number, but I know he's never dropped a pass out of the slot.
Is Mark Ingram capable of being the lead running back in Baltimore, and have we seen the end of Gus Edwards' effectiveness as a fantasy football player?
Yes, partially no.
Agree with Bosch.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about it on Wall Street. 18 to 20 carries is what I'm expecting for Ingram. Doesn't leave a whole lot in my mind for any of the other guys. So,
well, when you factor in Lamar Jackson's 30.
Right, that's what I mean. It's hard to run more than 50 times a game.
Could Jared Cook duplicate last year's season with the Saints, or was it just an aberration?
Aberration, but he's not going to be as bad as he used to be.
Every year, the Saints sign someone that we expect to do something, and then they just don't. So, I'm not really buying into Cook, but I'm sure he'll be serviceable.
Serviceable
Just like
tight end too.
Every other tight end.
Which means he'll be tight end 4.
Tight end 4 it is. This guy was mentioned twice tonight, and neither time was he given the appreciation that he deserves. The underrated signing of Blake Bortles to the Los Angeles Rams. He is alive and well, and when Goff gets hurt, he will lead them to third place in the division.
You mean when he comes in mop-up duty, Sal, not when Goff gets hurt. Come on.
I would like to thank Riley Bymaster and John Bosch for joining us tonight and taking the place of Steve Marcus. We are the Fantasy Football Funhouse. It has been good to be back. You can find us. We are alive and well on social media at Fantasy Football Funhouse on Twitter, and you can find us on Facebook, and you can find us on Instagram. I changed my Twitter handle because it was the big thing to do lately with all you guys. So I am now Sal Alito FF. John, tell them where you could be found.
I am cleverly at John Bosch FF, and I don't even write for Fanball.
Nice. Do you have anything else you'd like to push tonight or discuss or promote?
Go listen to Dynasty Game Night, Dynasty Wall Street, and do so. If you're looking for a league, go join a league at Safe Leagues.
Riley, where can you be found on Twitter, and what are you looking to promote tonight?
I guess I should change my handle to Riley Bymaster FF, since that seems the popular thing to do. No, I'm at DTC_Riley B. Plugging my Investments 1 exam tomorrow. But I'll let you guys know how that goes. But,
pretty sweet. I'm going to, before I turn the closing to Kevin, because he traditionally closes the show, let everybody know that I have started to make plans for the SFB Podathon, which will this year, I haven't even told Kevin this yet, start on the Sunday, the day before the SFB, and lead into the opening of the drafts. Last year we started with the opening and led Monday into Tuesday. We're going to go all day Sunday so we could capture that audience on a Sunday, have more people involved, go overnight into Monday morning. And I'm really excited. We're going to have some really big name guests. I'm hoping to get some big sponsors. Evan Silva has agreed to come on already. That's my first big name to announce that he has agreed to join us. And we had so many great contributors last year that'll be back. So if you're hearing this and you want to be involved, again, my Twitter is Sal Lito, Letoff. You can DM me. Let me know what you'd like to do, what you'd like to donate, prize-wise or whatever. It's going to be a really good time, and the more, the merrier. Kevin, please close out the show.
Yeah, I am at Kevin Cotillo FF. Thanks for dropping my Twitter there too. And yeah, hit me up if you want to talk about the Podathon or how Sal makes executive decisions without discussing it with any of the other hosts. We can discuss that in great length.
You just gave your Twitter handle out incorrectly.
At Kevin. Oh yeah, I gave an FF, didn't I?
I was like, hey, when did you go with the FF?
No FF. I'm just at Kevin Cotillo because I don't have any fantasy relevance. So
it's a movement.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
Steve,
anyway,
hit the button.
Yeah, so Steve is not here to hit the button anymore, so I got to come up with a better closing line. But I do want to remind everyone, as we're talking about the Podathon, and I haven't been able to say this for a little while now, add some kind of charitable aspect to your fantasy playing experience. It'll make it a lot better. Whether you donate some league fees, you get together as a group and do something nice for other people, whether it's, clean up a park or plant a tree or whatever good people in the world are doing, do that. And I guarantee your fantasy playing experience will be a lot better. So
Kevin, wait, breaking news before you go. I just received my first DM from a Riley Bymaster. It says, hey, Sal, big fan here. Would love to buy a spot on the Podathon. So the people are pouring in, guys.
Wow, that's great. It's amazing. Guys like that on the Podathon, we can't lose. You know what?
Let's go.
Riley, why don't you hit the button tonight?